You're watching the Sports and Political channel of LB. If you're not subscribed to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and share these videos on your social media platforms. Let's get down to business. So we're going to talk about incoming representative out of the 3rd District of New York, George Santos. Now, this guy, when it came to cooking up bullshit, look, of all the stories I did about goddamn on Herschel Walker, this motherfucker here takes the cake. He takes the cake when it comes to serving up bullshit sandwiches. All right. Now, before I really get down to business, right, I want to stress that politicians lie. That's what they do. It's similar to breathing. It's like you can't have one without the other. You can't have life without breath, and you can't have a politician without him lying to some degree, right? But this guy really pushed the needle on fabricating his resume. He really pushed the needle on fabricating his resume. A New York Times article came out recently. Matter of fact, it came out like about a week ago. And I'm going to read pieces of what this thing said. It says George Santos, whose election to Congress on Long Island last month helped Republicans clinch a narrow majority in the House of Representatives, so they'll have control of Congress when the new Congress takes over in January. And he built this candidacy on the notion that he was the full embodiment of the American dream and was running to safeguard it for others. You know, just dribble and diarrhea the mouth. His campaign biography amplified his storybook journey. He's the son of Brazilian immigrants, the first openly gay Republican to win a House seat as a non-incumbent. By his account, he catapulted himself from a New York City public college to become a quote, seasoned Wall Street financier and investor, unquote, with a family-owned real estate portfolio of 13 properties and an animal rescue charity that saved more than 2,500 dogs and cats. But a review of the public documents and court filings from the states and Brazil, as well as various attempts to verify claims that the 34-year-old made on the campaign trail, calls into question key parts of the resume that he sold to voters. Now, here we go. Citigroup and Goldman Sachs, the marquee Wall Street firms on Mr. Santos' campaign biography, told the Times they had no record of him ever working there. Officials at Baruch College, which Mr. Santos said he graduated from in 2010, could find no record of anyone matching his name and date of birth graduating that year. Now, does that sound familiar? Because Herschel Walker said that he graduated in the top 1% at the University of Georgia in criminal justice, right? Remember that shit? Anyway, there was also little evidence that his animal rescue group, Friends of Pets United, was, as Mr. Santos claimed, a tax-exempt organization. The IRS could not locate any record of a registered charity with that name. His financial disclosures suggest a life of some wealth. He lent his campaign more than $700,000 during the midterm election, has donated thousands of dollars to other candidates in the last 2 years, and reported a $750,000 salary and over $1 million in dividends from his company, the Devolder Organization. Yet the firm, which has no public website or a LinkedIn page, is something of a mystery. Well, that's a red flag right there. On the website, Mr. Santos once described Devolder as his family's firm that managed $80 million in assets. On his congressional financial disclosure, he described it as a capital introduction consultant company, a type of boutique firm that serves as a liaison between investment funds and deep-pocketed investors. But as Mr. Santos' disclosure did not reveal any clients, an omission three election law experts say could be problematic if such clients exist. And while Mr. Santos has described a family fortune in real estate, he has not disclosed, nor could the Times find records of the properties. Now, his 8-point victory in the district of Northern Long Island and Northeast Queens had previously favored Democrats was considered a mild upset. He had lost decisively in the same district in 2020 to Tom Suozzi, the Democratic incumbent, and it seemed to be wedded to former President Trump and his stances to flip his fortunes. His appearance earlier this month in a gala in Manhattan attended by white nationalists and right-wing conspiracy theories underscored his ties to Trump's right-wing base. At the same time, new revelations uncovered by the Times included the omission of key information in his personal financial disclosures and criminal charges for check fraud in Brazil have the potential to create ethical and possibly legal challenges once he takes office. Let's talk about the criminal case in Brazil. He said he was born in Queens to parents who immigrated from Brazil and raised in the borough. His father, who he said is Catholic, has roots in Angola. His mother, Fatima de Volder, was descended from migrants who flew from Jewish persecution in the Ukraine and World War II strife in Belgium. Mr. Santos also described himself as a non-observant Jew, but also said he was Catholic. Records showed that Santos's mother died in 2016, lived for a time in the Brazilian city of Niterói, a Rio suburb where she was employed as a nurse. After Mr. Santos obtained a high school equivalency diploma, he apparently spent some time there. In 2008, when he was 19 years old, he stole a checkbook of a man his mother was caring for, according to Brazilian court records. Police and court records showed that Mr. Santos used the checkbook to make fraudulent purchases, including a pair of shoes. 2 years later, he confessed to the crime and was criminally charged. The court and local prosecutor in Brazil confirmed the case remains unsolved, but he did not respond to an official summons, and the court representative could not find him at the given address, the records show. So not only this guy's running for office, but this guy's a criminal. But hey, when it comes to the Republican Party, that is the American way. I mean, look at Lauren Boebert. Lauren Boebert got a rap sheet that's as long as Charmin toilet paper, and she still ended up in Congress. Trump dodged the law like how that bad guy dodging bullets on the Matrix, and he ended up as president. So when I think about everything that's going on, it's right there on cue. It's right there on cue. It's right there on cue. That period in Brazil overlapped when Santos said he was attending Baruch College, where he said he was awarded a bachelor's degree in economics and finance, but they was unable to find those records using multiple variations of the first, middle, and last names, and having graduated in 2010 as he claimed. Now, the biography on the National Republican Congressional Committee, which is the House Republicans' campaign arm, also includes a stint at New York University. The claim is not repeated elsewhere, and the NYU spokesman found no attendance records matching his name and birth date. I mean, this guy here just sitting up here just telling all kinds of lies and people just buying into the bullshit. Now, this guy claimed he owned property. He purportedly climbing the corporate ranks. He claimed to have founded Friends of Pets United, which he ran for 5 years beginning in 2013. As a candidate, he cited the group as proof of a history for philanthropic work through remains or remnants of the group and his efforts can be found on Facebook, the IRS was not able to find any showing that the group held tax exempt status. Neither the Times or New York Attorney General's offices could not find records of Pets or Friends of Pets United having been registered as a charity. Now, Friends of Pets United held at least one fundraiser with the New Jersey Animal Rescue Group in 2017. The invitation promised drinks, donated raffle items, and a live band. He charged $50 for the entry, according to an online fundraiser page that promoted the event. But the event's beneficiary, who actually anonymity for fear of retribution, said she never received any of the money, with Santos only offering repeated excuses for not giving the money. Because I know why he didn't give up the money, because he took the money and funded his own lifestyle with it. Now, during that same period, he was facing apparent financial difficulties. In November 2015, a landlord in Whitestone neighborhood filed an eviction suit in housing court accusing Mr. Santos of owing $2,250 in unpaid rent. The landlord said in an interview that Santos had been a nice guy, respectful tenant. She said that he had financial problems that led to the eviction, declining to elaborate further. In May 2017, he faced another eviction case from a rent-stabilized apartment in Sunnyside, Queens. His landlord accusing him of owing more than $10,000 in rent stretching over 5 months, and said in the court case that one of his tenants' checks had bounced. The warrant of eviction was issued, and he was fined $12,208 in a civil judgment. Early 2021, he became a vocal on housing issues, but not from a tenant perspective, from a landlord's perspective, because he claimed he owned all these properties as a landlord. And he was affected by the eviction moratorium. He said that he and his family have not been paid rent on 13 properties in nearly a year, and that he had offered rental assistance to some tenants, but found that they were flat out taking advantage of the situation. Okay. No, if anybody that was taking advantage of the situation is you. It is unclear what might have led to his apparent reversal of fortunes. By the time he launched his first run for the House in 2019, he was working in business development at a company called Linkbridge Investors that says it connects investors with fund managers. He eventually became a vice president there, according to a company document. And in May 2020, campaign disclosure form where he declared earnings of $55,000 in salary, commission, and bonuses. Over the next 2 years, he bounced around several ill-fated ventures. As he ran for Congress, he moved from Linkbridge to take on a new role as regional director of the Harbor City Capital, a Florida-based investment company. Harbor City, which attracted investors from YouTube videos and guaranteed of double-digit returns, soon garnered attention from the Security and Exchange Commission, or the SEC, that filed a lawsuit accusing the company and its founder of running a $17 million Ponzi scheme. Neither Santos nor other colleagues were named in the lawsuit, and Santos publicly denied any knowledge of the scheme. Yeah, because when you are trying to become a public servant and you're running for public office, you cannot have anything attached to your name when it comes to Ponzi schemes, campaign finance violations, anything to that sort. So, despite all that, he still is intending on being a congressman out in the 3rd District in New York. So basically, the man has no shame. Then there was the statement that he made claiming that he never claimed to be Jewish because he learned his maternal family had a Jewish background and said that he was Jewish. So when you make a statement like that, you would think that the Anti-Defamation League and Jonathan Greenblatt and anybody else who might be up in arms about people who might be anti-Semitic will be all over this, right? You would think they would give George Santos the same treatment that they would give Kanye West and Kyrie Irving, right? Except you haven't heard so much as a pin drop from those individuals. Now, why is that? There's all this pressure around George Santos to step down. He's not. You ever heard the Anti-Defamation League coming out with some statement or some kind of pressure they can put on their own to get George Santos to step down from being a congressman-elect? You ever heard anything from them? The mainstream media is not putting this full court press on George Santos like they did with Kyrie Irving and all that. It was wall-to-wall, eye in the sky, number 5 on the dial coverage when it came to that. Now, why is that? Why is that? So when I think about everything that's going on, it revolves around one thing and one thing only, right? And anti-Black racism is at the forefront of things that go wrong in this country. They don't think we don't see what's going on, and they're just being blatant about it. This man has cooked up more bullshit sandwiches than McDonald's serve up on a daily basis when it comes to their Big Macs and shit. And yet, he gets to parade around that notion that he is going to be a person who is trustworthy. He's going to be trustworthy. That you can put your faith and trust in him, that he's going to do the right thing by you. Yeah, okay. We all know what that means, right? It's called the art of the grift. That's why these guys go through so much twisting themselves into pretzels to make themselves look better than what they really are. So don't expect this guy to step down. He's going to be a congressman because people were dumb enough to buy into the bullshit. I just go keep it 100. And you would think in this day and age where we got internet, you can go on your phone, you can go on your laptop, tablet, iPad, iPod, wherever tickles your fancy or makes your bacon sizzle, and you can research a candidate. You can vet these candidates, right? You can do some digging, right? So there's no excuse to not properly do your due diligence when it comes to a certain candidate. This ain't the 1980s where, someone could just be popped up out of nowhere, paint this rosy picture, and we just buy into it. No. So it is what it is. Now, if you're not a subscriber to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and share these videos on your social media platforms. Last but definitely not least, shouts out to the LDBC. This your man. Scream at me. Oh!